When my best friend asked me to be her maid of honor, I carried a secret affair with her fiancé. As wedding plans unfolded, from group chats to cake tastings, the hidden betrayal exploded in a public confession, shattering trust and forcing me to rebuild my life amid guilt and hope. Midnight feels endless when your phone pings like a gunshot. I stare at the screen. Maid of honor. In curly script, Emily's name at the top of a pale blush card. My heart skids to a stop. I'm Jade Harper, 26, living in Savannah, Georgia, and I haven't slept in days, but I never imagined dread could twist in my stomach like this. Emily and I have been inseparable since college. Late-night study sessions at the library, shared coffee runs through Bonaventure Square, secrets traded like currency. She's the sister I never had. Now her words blur. Will you stand by me on the biggest day of my life? Beneath the invitation, her handwriting trembles. I can't imagine walking down the aisle without you. My thumb hovers over RSVP yes, but my skin feels hot, my chest tight. 3 months ago at Aaron's birthday party in Midtown, I met Mark. Dark hair falling into storm gray eyes. That half smile. It should have registered as a warning. Instead, I told myself I was just lonely, craving someone to listen to my rambling about my half-finished novel. One drink led to another. One stolen glance turned into late-night texts, and one thing led to another I still replay in my mind. I swallow hard, recalling the night we met. Laughter and music pulsed through the loft. Emily flitted between friends while I nursed a soda in the corner. Then Mark appeared, offering me a cigarette and a quiet question. Are you okay? He stayed by my side until the clock struck 2, and for one shining moment I felt seen. I never thought Emily's fiancé would become my secret. The screen blurs as tears cloud my vision. I trace the embossed edges of the card and picture Emily's face, bright, hopeful, trusting. My chest tightens with guilt so heavy I can scarcely breathe. She wants me to lead her bridal party, to stand beside her in lace and pearls, while I carry this lie inside me, heavy as a casket. My breath catches. I flick through photos on my phone. Emily's grin as we climb the Oaks by Forsyth Park, the way her eyes crinkle when she's truly happy. And then his messages, can't wait to see you tonight. I miss you already. I love you. Words I whispered back in the dark, convinced we'd never cross paths again. But they will collide, because Emily believes in me, because I'm her person. And because I know the moment she pins that bouquet to my wrist, I could shatter her world. I tap the card against my palm, adrenaline spiking. My pulse hammers in my ears. Outside, the Spanish moss drifts across streetlights, silent witnesses to my unraveling. I lift my thumb and hesitate. What do you say when everything you love demands your honesty, and your silence is the only promise you've kept? They say a group chat never sleeps, but neither does my guilt. I cradle my phone in the backseat of my car, scrolling through a kaleidoscope of pastel balloons and ribbon-tied images, splashed across the Savannah Squad chat. Emily's name glows at the top. Bridesmaid brainstorm, let's nail those Pinterest vibes. Beneath it, Lauren posts a color swatch collage, blush, ivory, sage, followed by Jess's string of cupcake tower photos. Each cheerful ping feels like a blade twisting in my chest. I type a response, those colors are perfect. Then hesitate. My thumb hovers over send before I delete the draft. How can I talk about lemons and lavender when my secret simmers hotter than any flavor profile? Emily's next message jolts onto the screen. Guys, Mark's surprise bachelorette reveal. He's helping me plan the menu. So fun, right? Beneath the exclamation mark, I taste bile. I remember those stolen whispers in Mark's darkened kitchen, the way he teased, you like it when I take charge, as he brushed a stray hair from my face. I reply with the obligatory thumbs up emoji and watch it sit there, hollow. Chat pings again. Meet at Magnolia's Sunday at noon, cake flavors and seating chart. My fingers curl around the phone so tightly the screen cracks under my grip. I've ghosted 2 texts already, but they're persistent. Emily's joy pulses through her messages like electricity, and I recoil from the shock. What would happen if I start to type, but delete the thought before it can fully form? Sunday means cake tasting and table placements, but for me, it's a countdown. 3 days until Emily beams at her fiancé, blissfully unaware of our midnight trysts. 3 days until I sit across from Mark, voice trembling, and confess the biggest lie of our lives. I switch to my camera roll, swiping past selfies of us in matching floral robes, bridal hangover faces at Emily's surprise shower. The photos blur with tears as I remember the night Mark slipped into my bed. Emily knocked on my bathroom door, laughing, and I stood there, dripping water, blood pounding in my ears, heart pummeling against my ribs. I pretended I was sick, took her hand, told her I'd make it up to her later. But there was no later when your world is 2 worlds at once. A new message. OMG, talk to me guys, Suo excited. Emily's enthusiasm floods the chat. Lauren sends a gif of bridesmaids dipping cake in champagne. I close the group before I say something stupid. I lean back against the seat, plotting escape routes. I think of texting Mark, begging him to break it off cleanly to say goodbye before Sunday. But what if he refuses? What if he begs me to stay silent? My pulse quickens, throat dry. I'd rather drive off a cliff than stay quiet. But the thought of shattering Emily's heart, that's what paralyzes me. A silent notification. I've been added to a new poll. Which cake tier? Marble, raspberry, or classic vanilla? My thumb twitches over vanilla. I'm supposed to adore vanilla, supposed to help choose. Instead, my chest clenches, every choice feels like a betrayal. My phone slips from my hand, screen cracking further as it hits the floor. I catch it, breath coming in short bursts. Sunday is coming, and with it, the moment I can no longer pretend. I stare at the chat name, Savannah Squad. I should feel honored to belong, but all I feel is dread, because this Sunday could unravel everything, and there's no going back once the first balloon pops. My reflection is a stranger. I sit on the cold tile floor of my bathroom, knees drawn to my chest, mascara streaked from silent tears. The harsh light above frames my hollow eyes. I press my palms against the counter, leaning forward until my forehead touches the cool porcelain sink. I'm Jade Harper, 26, and I've betrayed the only friend I ever trusted. It began innocently. I still see Mark's silhouette slipping through my doorway that night. It argued, Emily and he, their voices clashing over wedding details, and I'd retreated here, craving solitude. He followed, voice low. Are you okay? One question led to comfort led to proximity, and proximity to something reckless. In the mirror's gaze, I remember the tremor in his hand as he brushed a stray lock of hair from my face, the way his breath caught when our lips met. I lift my reflection by the chin, eyes locking with mine. There's no forgiveness in those eyes, just accusation. My heart hammers against my ribs, guilt squeezing tighter than any embrace. I whisper into the glass, this has to end. My voice cracks. My mind replays every stolen moment, our laughter in darkness, secret smiles across crowded rooms, his hand grazing mine when Emily's back was turned. Each memory feels like a blade twisting deeper. I close my eyes, seeing Emily's trusting face, the way her eyes light up whenever Mark enters the room. I feel the weight of my betrayal pressing down, heavier than any bouquet ever could. I stand and glance at the row of pills by the sink, my prescription for anxiety. My finger hovers over the amber bottle. Take one, calm down. But the thought of tomorrow, of facing Emily's radiant grin as she fusses over table linens, makes me freeze. I swallow and put the bottle down. I can't numb this. Not with pills, not with excuses. A knock at the door startles me. My heart lurches. I scramble back to my feet, splashing cold water on my face. I barely recognize the haggard woman staring back at me in the mirror, dark circles, quivering jaw, eyes haunted by secrets. Jade. It's my roommate, Kayla. She peeks in, concern etched across her face. My throat tightens. I force a small shake of my head, plaster on a shaky smile. Just late-night self-care, I lie, heart pounding. She lifts an eyebrow but steps back. Okay, but tomorrow's brunch, you promised. She closes the door gently, leaving me alone again. Brunch, Sunday. Tasting, bridesmaid duties. I glance at my reflection one last time. My eyes refuse to lie. Underneath every flicker of strength, there's fear and a truth I haven't yet voiced. I press my hand against the mirror, fingertips cold against the glass. I have to tell her. The words taste like ash on my tongue, but in the dim light, my reflection seems to agree. I reach for my phone, resolve building. My thumb hovers over Mark's name in my recent calls. Single tap could call him, could end this tonight. But even as my skin tingles with anticipation, I know it's not enough. Emily deserves the truth face to face. I drop the phone and draw in a shaky breath. The mirror no longer offers solace, only reflection of what I've become. The secret has grown too big for this room, for these tears. I turn away from the sink. Tomorrow, I'll stand beside Emily in lace and tulle and confess everything. But tonight, I tremble, knowing that once I step out of this bathroom, there's no hiding from the storm I've unleashed. And I refuse to run again. The sweet scent of buttercream and sugar nearly makes me gag. I hunch over a delicate porcelain plate at Magnolia's patisserie, sampling a shard of lemon lavender cake, while the other bridesmaids chatter around me. Emily's eyes sparkle as she describes a tiered masterpiece. Imagine it. Jade, ivory fondant with tiny sugared violets. And I manage a smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes. My pulse pounds so loudly I'm sure everyone can hear it. I clutch my coffee cup like a lifeline, the bourbon-brown liquid doing nothing to calm the storm inside. The baker slides over a tray of raspberry-filled macarons. Emily gasps and reaches for one, her excitement unfurling like a ribbon. I watch her, her joyous laugh, the way she brushes a stray curl from her cheek, and I feel a stab of shame so sharp I taste blood. I close my eyes, willing the panic to subside, but it only claws deeper. Then the door swings open. My breath catches as Mark strides in, tuxedo perfectly tailored, cufflinks glinting under the bakery lights. He was supposed to be at the groomsmen's fitting 2 blocks away. My chest seizes. He offers a polite nod to the baker, then spots me, his expression flickering between surprise and something darker, anticipation. Emily waves him over unaware. You're early. Need to taste the groom's cake. She chirps, beaming at him as if we're living in a fairy tale. He smiles back, but his eyes find mine, and that look, half apology, half promise, sends a shock through me. A tightness coils in my gut. I slide my chair back, the legs scraping against the tile. "Excuse me," I manage, voice trembling. I drop my napkin, crouching to retrieve it, heart hammering so hard I think I'll suffocate. Every second he stays is another risk. Another lie spun tighter around my throat. I stand and brush past the table, catching Emily's confused glance. "I need air," I stammer, voice flat. My cheeks burn as I push through the door into the sultry afternoon, the bells jingle slicing behind me. I lean against the brick facade, gulping cool air, trying to silence the memory of his hand brushing mine. Half-eaten cake glistens behind me on the pastry table, Emily's dream in pastel tears, and a half-bitten promise that I'll never be able to honor. My fingers shake so badly I leave a smear of frosting on the window. I press my palm against the glass, watching the group inside, oblivious to the rupture I've almost caused. My phone vibrates in my pocket. I fish it out, Mark's name lighting up the screen. I can't keep running from this, because once I answer, there's no hiding from what comes next. My phone vibrates like a heartbeat in my pocket. Outside, magnolias. The humid savanna air clings to my skin as I stare at the screen. Mark calling. My breath hitches. I left the patisserie half broken, tasting betrayal on my tongue, but somehow his name still feels like home. I press it to my ear. His voice, low, urgent, cuts through the hum of traffic. "Jade, please." My thumb hovers over decline. I remember the softness in his eyes when he leaned close in that empty loft, the way he whispered my name like it was a secret worth saving. "I can't stop thinking about you," he murmurs now, as if the world beyond my trembling hand doesn't matter. I rub my forehead, the promise of sunlight stinging my eyes. "Mark, my voice cracks. The lie is already formed on my lips. I'm busy. Can't talk now, but I swallow it down. Emily's trusting smile, the curve of her fingers around her bouquet, everything screams at me to hang up. I do. The click of silence is deafening. My chest caves in, my stomach twists so violently I feel sick. I stare at the black screen, wishing I'd never known how he sounded when he missed me. Line goes dead, and a hollow ache fills the space he left behind. I drop my phone into my bag and sink onto a nearby bench. Sweat beads at my hairline, though the heat has nothing to do with the weather. I fumble for water, but my hands tremble too much to twist the cap. I close my eyes, pressing the bottle to my lips, but the water tastes metallic like guilt. I think of Emily's brunch next week, pancakes and mimosas under the Spanish moss. She'll toast to friendships that last a lifetime. And I'll sit there pretending I'm her maid of honor, the picture of loyalty. My chest tightens at the hypocrisy. "Why'd you hang up on me?" His voice echoes in my mind, though he's not there. The question reverberates off the hollow walls of my guilt. It wasn't to protect Emily, I realize. I let him ring because the thought of losing him made my bones ache harder than losing her ever could. I tuck my legs beneath me, hugging my knees, drowning in my own contradictions, wanting to be honest, yet fearing the collapse that truth will bring. My phone buzzes again, a text from Emily. "Hope you're okay. Love you, Zoe." Beneath the sugar, I taste salt, my tears I haven't shed yet. A car door slams nearby. The world moves on. Strangers laugh, tires hum, seagulls cry overhead. Life under the moss continues, but mine feels suspended, teetering on a single thread. I pull out my phone and open Mark's contact. My thumb hovers over his name, the soft glow illuminating my tear-blurred eyes. I want to hear his voice again, just one more time, though I know it'll only warp the shards of my resolve further. I swipe and delete. No call, no relief, just the echo of what I refused. And now every quiet moment will remind me of this silence, and of the lie that both saves me and destroys me. Because some walls can't hold the weight of all the secrets we bury. And mine is crumbling already. What happens when the cracks finally give way? The base hits like a freight train. Under jagged neon lights at the Gilded Lily, sweat and smoke swirl around me as Emily lifts her champagne flute in a toast. To love, laughter, and happily ever after. Her voice rings clear above the pounding music. Bridesmaids chant back, their glittered dresses swaying. I clutch my flute so tightly the stem threatens to shatter. I force a smile that feels brittle, like it'll snap any second. Every cheer ricochets in my skull. I can almost hear the clock ticking down to my unraveling. 2 nights before the wedding, at the one party meant for pure celebration, I stand on a minefield. Then he's there. Mark, pushing through the crowd, tuxedo jacket hanging over his arm, eyes scanning until they find mine. My heart seizes. He threads between our friends, energy magnetic and dangerous. He grasps my elbow, hauling me behind a velvet curtain. The laughter and music blur into distant thunder. "You need to talk," he hisses, breath hot against my ear. His eyes flick toward Emily, who's swirling confetti as the DJ drops the next track. My palms go slick. "I can't keep hiding," I whisper back. My voice trembles but echoes in the small dark space. His jaw clenches. "Tonight's the last chance." He pushes a stray lock from my forehead. Every nerve in my body ignites. Behind us, Emily's voice floats through the curtain. "Jade, come join the dance." She sounds radiant, untouchable. I swallow, vision narrowing on her glowing silhouette. Mark's hand curls around mine. "Please." His eyes shine with urgency. I feel him closer than air, closer than breath, and I know there's no turning back. I step out, gripping Mark's hand like it's a lifeline. Bridesmaids part instinctively, sensing the storm brewing. Emily's laugh falters when she sees our faces. Silence swallows the room. "Emily," I begin, voice cracking. My heart pounds so loud I wonder if she can hear it. The DJ drops the beat. Emily's smile fades into confusion. I catch Mark's gaze, torn between shame and relief. "I have to tell you something." Gasps ripple through the crowd. Confetti hangs frozen in the air. Emily's bridesmaids grip each other, eyes wide. Mark's free hand reaches for me, but I pull back, chest heaving, voice rushing past any chance to stop it. "I love you," I say, silence hammering at my ears. "But I've been with Mark, behind your back." The words hit like a bullet. Emily's expression crumples, her hand flies to her mouth. For a moment, nothing moves. Then the room erupts, stifled sobs, furious whispers. Emily backs away, tears flooding down her cheeks. I stumble forward, guilt crushing my ribs. Mark tries to step toward me, but I flinch, eyes locked on Emily, watching her retreat. The champagne flutes topple, shattering at our feet. Neon lights blur with tears. My knees buckle and I sink to the floor. Shards of glass cutting at my skirt, but I don't feel the pain. All I feel is the weight of my confession, dragging me under. Around me, bridesmaids scatter, shielding Emily as she disappears through the front doors into the humid night. I watch her go, every step echoing in the chamber of my heart. Mark reaches down, offering his hand, but I pull away, tears blurring my vision. I taste regret on my tongue, bitter and raw. The music crashes on, but for me, the world has gone silent. I open my mouth to beg forgiveness, but no sound comes, because some truths break the world wide open, and there's no sealing it back shut. And in the wreckage of this night, I realize there's no turning back. What comes after the bombshell of truth? Rain hammers the asphalt like a chorus of accusations. I stand alone under the flickering lot light, droplets soaking through my dress, plastering fabric to my skin. World blurred inside the lounge now sharpens. Emily's abandoned heels clicking as she fled, bridesmaids clustering around her like shields, and Mark's pleading eyes that I refuse to meet. My chest aches as I watch Emily disappear into the night, her wedding gown still pinned to its hanger in the bakery beside a half-eaten cake. The memory of her smile, bright, trusting, cuts deeper than any raindrop. I squeeze my arms around myself, shivering from more than cold. Mark approaches, water dripping from his hair into his collar. "Jade, please." His voice is raw, vulnerable, the way it was the first time he touched my hand. But I cannot stand that look now. I refuse to own the pain I caused him too. I step back. "Don't." My voice trembles, tears mingling with rain on my cheeks. "You knew what I did." The words hit the pavement between us like lightning striking stone. He opens his mouth, but Emily's face flashes in my mind. Her tears, her shock, the way she stumbled into the arms of her sister. I taste regret, bitter as the empty sky. I choke on the word. "I can't fix this." Markers of our life together, love letters, giggles in empty rooms, secret rendezvous feel like taunts now. I clutch my purse, fingers tightening on the strap until the seams groan. I want to tell him I'm sorry, that I never meant to unravel two lives, but apologies drown in the thunder. Mark's shoulders slump, rain dripping from his eyelashes. "What do you want?" he whispers. The question pierces me. Do I want him, Emily, truth? I don't know, I admit, voice barely a whisper. "I'm sorry. It's too little, it's everything." He turns away, boots splashing through puddles, and I drop my gaze to the cracked concrete. Memories crash against me. Late-night laughter, whispered secrets, promises broken. My reflection shimmers in the standing water, an echo of who I was. Friend, confidante, lover. Now I'm none of those things. The lot light flickers out, plunging me into half-darkness. I lift my head, water dripping from my lashes. The scent of rain and asphalt mingles with the sting of loss. In the distance, a car door slams, someone leaving behind warmth and safety. I swallow, realizing I no longer belong anywhere. The bridal party, once my chosen family, is fractured beyond repair. Mark's love, once a secret thrill, now feels like a wound that won't close. I step forward, each footfall echoing alone. The rain soaks me through. I barely feel it. My world has collapsed into shards of betrayal and heartbreak. I reach my car and freeze, keys trembling in my hand. To drive away means leaving behind everything. Emily's laughter, Mark's touch, the life I risked it all for. To stay means facing them, and I'm not sure I can face anyone right now. I slip into the driver's seat, blinking through rain-blurred windows. The engine rumbles to life, but I don't move. I press my forehead against the steering wheel, the leather cold against my skin. Ache inside thuds in time with the wipers against glass. The lot is empty now, save for my car and the shattered pieces of my choices scattered like broken glass. I close my eyes, letting the storm rage around me, because some wounds can't be healed with an apology. And in the silence that follows confession, I realize I'm utterly, terrifyingly, alone. Sunlight feels alien through my apartment window. Boxes crowd the cramped living room, moving remnants of the life I fled. I tug open the top drawer of my nightstand, rifling through voicemails and unread texts piled like guilt. Emily's number glows with unanswered calls. Each one makes my heart stutter. I press my thumb against the screen, but I can't bring myself to answer. It's been weeks since the bachelorette fury and the rainy parking lot. I've traded that floral boutique for this bare apartment in Midtown, white walls, strangers' footsteps overhead, nothing familiar to cling to. Here, the only echoes are my own. Therapy starts next Tuesday. I found a small practice near Forsyth Park, where I'll sit across from a stranger asking me why I shattered my world. The thought both terrifies and comforts me. Maybe unpacking my secrets out loud will loosen their grip on my chest. I sit at the tiny table, legs folded beneath me, staring at a draft email titled, "I'm sorry." Half-typed words blur. "Emily, I know I hurt you in ways I can't undo." My fingers hover over the keyboard. The cursor blinks back, accusing. I delete the draft and close the laptop with a soft snap. Instead, I pull out a note card, blank, ivory cardstock, and a pen. I write, "Dear Emily, I'm sorry you had to learn the truth in that brutal moment. I was selfish, cowardly, and I betrayed the person who meant the world to me." My handwriting shakes. I pause, ink smudging under my thumb, then continue. "I understand if you can't forgive me. I just needed you to know I'm trying to be honest now, if only in this letter." I tuck the card into an envelope without sealing it, too afraid to commit to whatever words come next. It sits on the counter, waiting like a fragile bird uncertain of flight. A knock at the door pulls me from the table. I start, pen still in hand. I open it to find a small package, a single envelope addressed to me in Emily's handwriting. My stomach twists. I close the door carefully, heart pounding like rain on a tin roof. On the table, her envelope trembles beside mine. I break the seal with fingers I barely recognize. Inside, a card unfolds, delicate watercolor of magnolia blossoms, our favorite, and 3 simple words on the front, "I see you." I turn it over. Inside, in Emily's looping script, "Jade, thank you for telling me yourself, even when it tore both of us apart. I'm not ready to forgive, but I'm not ready to hate you either. I grieve what we lost, and I admire the courage it took to face me." My breath catches. Tears slide down my cheeks, unbidden and warming. I clutch the card to my chest, a reminder that amidst the wreckage, a thread remains. I look at my unsent letter and realize maybe I don't have to finish it today. Forgiveness, my own, hers, will come in time, like spring after the coldest winter. For now, this simple card, acknowledging grief and courage, is enough to kindle hope. I lean back against the wall, the envelope crumpling beneath me, and exhale. The road to healing is long and uncertain, but I've taken the first steps. Tomorrow, I'll seal my apology and maybe, just maybe, mail it. Because even shattered hearts can begin to mend one fragile bridge at a time. And somewhere between grief and forgiveness, we find the strength to try again.